So, this is an opportunity for black people to stop acting crazy. Unfortunately, it's the programming that occurs 24 hours a day actually works against us in waking black people up and helping black people understand how to get over these dysfunctions. So the Fix It campaign does 5 different segments. It goes after the school system and the inferior education that is being perpetrated onto black children. It goes after the business sector, where black children are taught to be good slaves as opposed to business owners and providers for not just their family today, but for the future generations. It goes after the criminal injustice system, where black males and black females are snatched out of the community and are used as slaves in a trading system for the profit of cities, counties, states, and towns, and, of course, the federal government. We go after the entertainment industry. Most of the blacks that you see in the entertainment industry is owned by white masters. They're owned by white people. And so while now they have moved from the actual slavery of unpaid labor, they are now indentured servants in that they get paid for their labor, but they are required to do whatever their slave masters, their masters want. So even if that means completely destroying themselves, their future generations, and the legacy of the generations before them. And so you have black actors and black actresses that are willing to get out there and dance a jig and be Sambos and pickaninnies for $1, and sometimes for, $1 million. But the damage that they do is so far beyond the dollar signs that they get. They don't realize it until they've done that damage for many years and start seeing the results of it. And it would help if black civil rights organizations, black reparation organizations, and black organizations, period, were constantly making sure that black entertainers know the damage that they're doing. The minute you're doing damage, someone needs to be able to speak up and say, no, we do not accept that. We will not condone that, and we will not purchase any of the things that you are pushing under that dysfunctional and derogatory banner. And so also going after these white companies that promote these black entertainers and black athletes doing this stuff, and say, we will make a list of everything that your company promotes and the negative effect that it has on the black community. And we will boycott all of these things, and we will encourage black communities around the world to boycott these things. So, there are some responsibilities that are going to have to be really taken up by all parties of the black communities. But, you have a lot of black women who we talk to, and they don't know their fathers. So when we ask them, about their last names, they have the last names, they carry the last names of their mothers, and they don't know the last names of their fathers. So, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them. They're going to have to go back and kind of be detectives in their own neighborhoods or the neighborhoods of their mothers and find out, who their mother was with at that time and what, which people, which males may be the fathers of them or the fathers of their sisters, siblings, whatever. And like we said yesterday, it's not going to be pleasant. There are a lot of secrets that have, been buried in the black communities, buried in cemeteries, buried in attics, buried in cellars, buried in many different places. And it's going to be very difficult digging up those bones, digging up those secrets. But for those women that are truly serious about fixing some of this stuff for their children and grandchildren and future generations, they're going to have the courage, the guts, the backbone to face some of that stuff. And it's not pretty, but it must be done. We have so many people discouraging blacks from even talking about black community reparations. We have so many black people that are discouraging blacks from actually doing something that 9 other groups have done, which is demand reparations for damage and harm that was done to them by other groups of people. But when you get to the black population, the black communities, everybody says, just get over it, okay? But the truth is, they know that that is one of the reparations that is far, far overdue. That is one of the reparations that should have been the first to be paid. When I tell people that, you have a lot of black women that say, well, maybe black people don't really deserve reparations because, slavery was a long time ago. And I asked them, do you know that you are paying reparations today and have been for many years to whites? And they say, well, that's not true. We don't, I've never paid reparations to whites. And I was like, if you are the citizen of, the United States, you consider yourself a citizen of the United States, then yes, you have. So it's one of those things where it's just a lack of education, and with that lack of education comes a lack of understanding. And, it's gotten to the point now where if your mother does not have a grasp or an understanding of what happened to black people, does not have a grasp or understanding of what is happening to black people, then you can't expect the children to be able to understand that on their own or be able to, overcome that. And as much as black folks talk about we have overcome, we really have overcome nothing. All we've done is pretend that things are not the way they are. And pretending doesn't make it so. I don't care how badly you want it. You have black women who feel that they have done pretty good over this integration thing. But all they did was like in the Willie Lynch letter, all they did was allow themselves to be put at the head, and in order to for black males to be placed behind. So when you think of all of these women who have what they call good jobs, well, where are the men in these good jobs? Where is the provider of the family? If you're out there pretending to be the man and providing for the family as a single parent, then while you're at work, from 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, till 5, 6, and 7 in the evening, where are your children? Who's raising your children? And, it's it's really difficult for women to understand that being on a job and making a bunch of money, if you're doing it at the expense of your children, if you're doing it at the expense of the time that you would normally be spending with your children, then it's not as good a job as you think it is.